Well, hey there, my friend. So glad that you're with me on the podcast today. I am super excited to welcome just a great friend and one of my favorite artists in the world, Jill Williams. Jill, thank you for being on with me today.
Oh, absolutely, Matt. It's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
I tell you this every time I see you, but we think of you every day. We've got a big piece of yours in our study, and I sit there and drink my coffee every morning and see that piece of yours. And for those who don't know you, you're an excellent, incredible painter, teacher, just lover of people and the Lord. But give everybody just a little bit of intro of who you are and what you do creatively and where you are in the world.
Okay, sure. Absolutely. Well, I'm Jill. You already know that. I'm a painter that lives in Dallas, Georgia, and I've been working professionally as an artist for many years now. And I can attribute the beginning of my journey into my professional career with Matt and first discovering one of his books called Unlocking the Heart of the Artist. I'm sure you've heard of it. And so I've known Matt for a long time, but I appreciate the influence he's had on my life. And I've been working for, I don't know, probably since I actually started working professionally. I would declare my beginning mark about 2014. Wow. And so I've been teaching. I've been working as an art instructor. I teach adult painting. I sell and make paintings myself. And I'm currently starting on a brand new adventure here with reaching that point in life where the kids have grown up, and I've got two sons. One has already moved out. The other is on his way out the door. And my husband and I are starting life 2.0 here. And we're about to do some special things, and feel like we are opening up into a brand new season. We're going to hit the road full time here in a few months, and we're going to be traveling. I'm going to be teaching from the road. I'm going to be painting from the road, and we'll both be working remotely. And we're just headed out there for some really great adventure. It's going to be awesome.
I love it. I love it. You know, as you were saying, 2014, I'm always amazed just in my own journey and talking to artists who have been in this thing for a while. When you're first starting out, you just think, oh my God, with this, like, can I just get on with it? You know, like it seems like it takes forever and forever. And then you look back a couple of years of intentional leaning into the process, just like you've been doing, you know, and growing your business and showing up in the studio and going through the hard times and the pandemics and all this sort of thing. And you look back, and my experience has been, wow, look how fast it happened. Has that been your experience, like looking back, 6-7 years ago and looking at your journey to where you are now?
It is, Matt. And I appreciate you even bringing that up, because it's easy to, sometimes you're working so much, you're working so hard, and sometimes you'll think, is this working? But if you look back, you see it, you know that it's there. And it has been, it's been phenomenal to just watch the changes. And, I'm a firm believer in knowing your season. You talk about this a lot, and that never changes, and so as you are working through these seasons, sometimes they seem really hard. Sometimes they can even seem overwhelming sometimes, but we just keep showing up. We keep doing the work. We keep listening to what we know we're supposed to be doing. And then, the alignment begins to happen, and you just start moving. You just start moving, and it's absolutely amazing to just watch. And it just involves keeping focused, knowing where you're at, knowing what your season is, and really believing and knowing the things that God has got for you, and it's just that forward journey, but you can look back and you can see all the work, because it's definitely work, but when it's been laid out there before you. And so you've got that confidence to know that you can just keep trekking down this path, because it's going to yield the fruit that you expect. It's fantastic.
Before 2014, I mean, I'm sure you couldn't even have imagined necessarily what you'd be doing now. What did your life look like prior to 2014? You were a mom. I mean, were you working outside the home, or what were you doing?
Yeah, at that time, I had my first child was born in 1999, and so I had been a mom for a while, and by that time my second son was already here. So I had two younger children,
Yeah.
and just right in the throes of stay-at-home mom, just overwhelmed, bogged down. And I had an art degree. I had always been creative. I had always done something artistic, always. And so after you know after I got out of college, you go to art school and you get a painting degree, and you just think you're going to get your degree and you're just going to go out there and be a painter, and it doesn't come together that way.
Right.
So I had worked all those years as a graphic designer and some different things like that, and here I am in motherhood, and just longing to paint, longing to get back into my creative process. And it was just really hard to do, with small children. And we were also homeschooling.
Okay.
Okay, so I was just really busy, and just so desperate to try to carve out time to just do my work. But again, it's a different season in life. But I had really started to believe that maybe this just wasn't ever going to be something for me. Maybe this just was never meant to be,
Yeah.
or something. And I had, some of us go through these travels and trials in life, and you get a hold of some bad teaching,
Yeah.
and, some different things like that. I was struggling with some of those issues too, of, having sort of been taught to believe that maybe, that it wasn't the right thing for me to do, to try to turn my passion for art, my gift for creativity into a vocation, and that somehow that there was a lot of negative connotation with
Yeah.
that. So I was struggling with all of those things, and I remember just kind of coming to a crossroads, and I thought, Lord, you're just going to have to tell me something, because I don't know why you made me this way. If I'm not supposed to be doing this, or whether it was a vocation or not, even just doing it because I felt like I needed to. And of course I wanted it to be a vocation. And I remember just, I just needed to know something that I needed to do. So, we had just gotten the internet at our house. Okay. So this is like a long time ago. This is, 2013.
Yeah.
And we're back out in the woods. We finally get internet at our house. And I think maybe our internet was delivered by carrier pigeon. I'm not sure. It was
It came in
slow.
pieces, right?
It did. So, it was so hard to go online and try to search for things. But I was determined. I was like, Lord, you got to show me something outside these four walls
Right.
and my two precious crying babies. There's got to be some information out here for me that I can get a hold of, because I'm not finding it in my people that I can turn to in my church at that time. Anyway, I came across the worship studio, and finding out some information about that. And this was when the worship studio was still down in the Atlanta area.
Yeah.
But it was around that time you had made your move to Asheville at that time. So I thought, well, I don't know who this Matt Tommy is, but I got to figure out where he went, and maybe he can tell me something. And so anyway, I just kept following the trail. And then that's when I found your book, Unlocking the Heart of the Artist. And I thought, okay, I got to get a hold of this. And so I got that book, and it absolutely made everything shift for me. God used that to reveal to me that I'm not crazy. These are the things that are inside of me that I've been designed for, that I've been made to do, that I am purposed to do. And it changed everything. And so, oh my gosh, I had so much work to do from that point, but I knew that this was really real for me. And that was the beginning. So it's been a journey since that point.
I think so many people, it's been, so for those folks that don't know that name, the worship studio. So when God called me to raise up an army of artists in 2009, we started a ministry called the Worship Studio. A woman, Patricia Reeves in Ball Ground, Georgia, Canton, Georgia, gave us a building, and it was just a crazy God thing. And out of that, I was leading a small group on Saturday nights, and out of that, those writings and me sharing my story and all the stuff we were doing, that kind of birthed Unlocking the Heart of the Artist. And out of my own journey of kind of just trying to find healing and trying to find wholeness and that sort of thing and purpose. And I think it just continues to amaze me. I think so many of us as creatives just need validation and permission to actually be who God's called us to be. But everybody in every circumstance and all the stuff of life has told us that's not who we are. And so um, it's just so crazy to hear the stories of how people connect, with that. And so now you're on this journey and you start pursuing this, and it's been an incredible ride for you. I mean, I've seen your ceramic work, your painting, all that you're doing, your watercolor stuff. I mean, all of that. What does that journey look like? Because I think a lot of people think, okay, I say yes to God, and there's going to be this straight path of going from here to there. And if I just get, it's not like that though, right? It's up and down and around the corner, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, there was just this, absolute freedom that just began to open up in my life. And I still didn't have these glorious uninterrupted blocks of time that you would love to have as a creative, because you're taking care of small children. But I just started. I picked a place to start, and I just kind of got back into my painting because I was a painting major in college. So I got all my stuff out and was just working small so that I could kind of fit in little bitty chunks here and there. Whenever everybody's asleep, I'm going to go paint real quick, so just make it small. And that began to really just bolster my confidence. And I just started working, and it was, I'm not even thinking about vocation. I'm just working. I'm just pouring out and getting, reinvigorated in the whole creative process. And then it just began to grow from there. And one of the first things, surprisingly, that I went into after I had, started painting and drawing again at home, but I wanted to pick up something that would give me, I felt like, because I was having to start and stop, taking care of children. And I wanted something that where it was okay to do that. And so I got into stained glass and went and got myself trained for that. And I worked as a stained glass artist for about 5 years.
Wow.
And just had some unexpected success in that area. I wasn't looking for that. I was just I was enjoying it. And it was one of those things where you could work on it. And if you got interrupted, it was not a big deal. You could kind of come back to it.
Yeah.
And so I did that for about 5 years, and even had I had 3 pattern books published at that time. And again, just total windfall, not even expecting that. And of course, it wasn't something, that I could have made a living off of, but it was just fun knowing that just something that I was putting my hands to was just bearing fruit. And it just felt so amazing, But I really began to, hunger again for painting. That's what I knew I really wanted to do. So I've been exploring, all different forms of painting, for many years. And just, I've really kind of honed in a lot on watercolor, and I still do acrylic work. In fact, the piece that you have is an acrylic piece.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I do enjoy it. But there's just something that's really magical about the watercolor. I kind of keep coming back to that. And it really has some spiritual parallels for me that just really light a fire in me and keep me inspired. And I think that's a big part of it. And I did do some ceramics for a while. I enjoyed doing that when I was in college, and I wanted to try to do some on my own. I even got up a little studio at the house and was producing some pottery for a while. I would sell those things, and just kind of having fun with it. I don't have I don't have the skill set to be a production potter. I'm just not wired that way, but I do enjoy it. It's so much fun. And so, I just was kind of just all over the place, trying so many different things, just because I think I had just been so pent up and for so long. And I was ready to explode with all kinds of things. But that was that particular season. And I knew that I needed to start narrowing down. I needed to start, okay, I'm ready to just kind of focus and get in and start moving in a direction, So painting definitely became the main avenue for me. And in probably the last 7 years for sure, I have been just predominantly painting and really focusing on that. And even though I've painted for many, many years, I would say that probably the last 7, I have absolutely, I mean, I've absolutely committed myself to my craft and
Right.
paint daily for the last 7 years. And
Talk about
so,
real quick, Jill,
yeah.
because you're just exemplifying, this beautiful journey that we all have to go through as an artist of sort of,
Mhm.
exploration and emulation, which we all do. And then we kind of come into that place where we cut things away and we're trying to develop that autonomy and uniqueness as an artist through our visual voice, what it is that God does in and through us uniquely. I think it's interesting for most of us, if we look back at our journey, and I'd just be interested to hear your thoughts on this. You learned things in stained glass, I'm sure, that you're using now in painting. You learned things as you sold and got out there and did business as a ceramic artist, and now in painting. How has that convergent journey kind of informed where you are now and what you're doing, how you're expressing now?
Yeah, absolutely. Every single one of those definitely informs the other. None of that. In fact, I remember thinking at one point in time that, as I would kind of shift out of one thing and go into another thing, I would think, well, have I just been wasting my time all
Right.
this time? Because I'm kind of, I don't know, I mean, I did all these other things, and should I have not done that? But I really, it all feeds together. Each of
Yeah.
these things, we learn something very special, very valuable from each of those things, and they all inform the next thing to the next thing, and they all build on each other. And as you begin to focus, just like you're saying, they do converge. They do
Yeah.
converge. And the things that I learned in every single aspect, just even creatively, artistically, and even on some of the business levels, I got a lot of experience with that too, that has all worked together to help inform this whole position where I am right now, that has empowered me and enabled me to be able to just kind of go off in the direction that we are now, so that I'm confidently able and capable of doing these things. And I would not have been able to be in this position
Yeah.
had I not gone through all of these seasons. It is definitely this trajectory. It's not
Yeah.
an overnight thing. And sometimes it does feel like it's just sort of going
Right.
everywhere,
Right.
but they all are working together. They really do.
I love that. And I'm just thinking, I don't know why that date 2014 keeps sticking in my head in this conversation, but I'm like, the level of confidence that you were at back then versus the level of confidence that you are now, to the point where you're like, we're just going to haul off and get a vehicle and and
Yeah.
go off into the wild blue yonder. And I mean, talk about, how did this process for you even start, of thinking, I think we might want to sell the house or rent the house or whatever, and I don't even know what all the details with that, and take off in a van and redo it and teach on the road. I mean, how did that even start bubbling up inside of you?
Well, it's actually been it's been a lifetime thing, okay, and so that definitely a lifetime thing that kind of got covered up for a little
Okay.
bit, because it was really a seed. And see, it's been underground this whole time, and
Yeah.
now it
Yeah.
has germinated, and it's coming back. So, we both, Jay and I, my husband Jay, we both love the outdoors. And in fact,
Right.
when we were younger and we were dating and all that stuff, we were rock climbing and rappelling and outside and doing stuff like that. And then you get married and you have kids, and then when you have two kids that both have outdoor allergies that are really severe,
Wow.
you kind of just, it just sort of shuts all this down. There weren't camping trips for the kids and all those kinds of things when they were little, and so we just, we found other things to do. And so, though, that love for adventure and getting outside has always been there with us, so that's just been kind of under the surface all these years. And the idea to really get rid of everything and hit the road has just sort of, that idea has been coming along. And then we've also been parenting, and we're
Right.
getting ready to close that season of parenting where, our sons they're grown, they're
Yeah.
ready to start, their own lives. And so here we are. It's like, okay, you ready to pick up where we left off, kind of a thing, So that idea has really been coming into focus, over the past year. But I'll tell you, the biggest thing that was the catalyst for it, because I won't lie, there's been some mindset issues of,
I'm sure.
of fear and like, well, you can't just get rid of everything. And it's like,
Can't just haul off and sell everything, right? We gotta be adults here.
Right. Right. And so, knowing that our sons are, we've raised two successful adults, and we're blessed and so proud of the way that they're able to manage and take care of themselves. And so that does take, again, it's about a season, that it has not been our season until now. But back in, I guess it was the very end of 2019, not that long ago, we sold the house that we'd been living in for 18 years. We had this great big house. I don't even know how that happened. You just decide to do these things, and then there you are, and you've got it. And so at the end of 2019, we sold that house because we were ready to just downsize. We had just gotten really, for us, we were ready to just start shedding things and getting rid of the weight in life and all these things. And it was preparing us for this adventure that we're about to take. And so, getting rid of all of that stuff, downsizing, we sold our house so quickly that we didn't even have a place to go at first. We had to just we grabbed a rental house that was in the area and thought, okay, we'll just sit here until we figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, God really started to work on us this past year. And we have, we got rid of so much stuff. It was unbelievable. Just truckload after truckload of stuff that we got rid of before even coming to this smaller rental house. And now we're in the process of getting rid of all of this. And with everything that goes out the door, there is just this lightness and this freshness and this excitement that comes with knowing that we're going to position ourselves to go on just this exploration of a lifetime and just see exactly what God has got for us. It's absolutely exciting. And I know that this whole process is going to inform every decision that we make when we're out on the road. And it has brought us to this point, and we're just very excited about it. It's not for everybody. I understand that, but we're excited about it. And there's always going to be people that kind of look at you funny when you tell them that this is what you're doing. And that's okay. That's okay.
They're like, on purpose? You're doing this on purpose?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to stay married, or do you not want to stay married?
Yeah, exactly. But there's also this unexpected thing that's happening with us right now, Matt, is, as we're doing this and we share our story with people and people find out that this is what's going on, we're having so many people kind of come to us and say, I'm so inspired by this. You're really you're challenging my beliefs about maybe what am I holding on to that maybe I don't need to, or there are things that I put greater emphasis on in my life when really there are really more important things that I should be focusing on. And that's been a huge theme of our lives, especially over the last 2 years, is deciding what is really valuable, what is really important, and making sure that the time that we have here, on this physical earth right now, we want to just see and explore and make sure that we don't miss a single thing that God has for us. And this has absolutely opened the door for us to do this. And fear is just dropping off, and, questions are dropping off, and needs are getting met, and plans are coming together. All this alignment is coming together, to make this possible. And it's just been magical. We're very excited.
Well, I'm just tickled to death for y'all. When I saw a post, I guess about a month ago, or maybe a little bit, not quite that long ago, about, this initial thing. And I was like, now what do they do? But you could feel the freedom. You could feel the freedom in y'all's voices, and y'all look like kids again. Just going out and doing this incredible thing. And it's going to it is releasing freedom in others. Like you're saying, it's drawing other people to examine, what it is they believe. And I wanted to have you on the podcast because I know that there are people out there right now that are holding on to life the way it's always been. And yet God's calling them to this thing that maybe seems outside their box, outside their church's box, outside their neighbor's box, whatever, their family's box. And yet the call of God on their life is no, it's not any less. And I just want would you just speak to them and just directly, and just whatever the Lord gives you for them? Because there's, you've walked this journey, and when you walk a journey and you have breakthrough in that journey, then you've got an authority to be able to bring other people into that as well. And that's what the Lord's doing in you guys. So Jill, just to encourage folks that might be in that
Yeah,
position.
I will tell you, if you have anything inside of you that is just this thing that is trying to press outward in some way, but you don't understand why or what it's for, or if it's, what people think you're crazy, God has designed us all very specifically.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time that I started getting a hold of this, I just happened to be sitting at my table with some coffee, and I was just watching birds out the window. And I was just watching a cardinal just be a cardinal. And it occurred to me, there is not a single thing in this world that is preventing that cardinal from just being a cardinal. He's just doing everything that he was designed to do, and he wasn't questioning it.
Right.
He wasn't worried what any other creature was thinking about him. And the Lord just showed me a picture of freedom in that. And that was that first little seed of, I mean to have that level of freedom in my own design. And I know that we get so many outward forces, whether it's the opinions of other people, the expectations of other people, the things that we are raised to believe, the things that we learn in school, or, all these things try to come from all over the place to shape us and conform us to different things. But really, the most important thing is, what has God said? Because he is the one who has absolutely fashioned us, created us for a specific thing, and we get one shot at it. We're here on this planet, and for this season, and we get one shot at it. And so we just decided, we are going after this. We are not going to let this go. This is what we want to do. And if people stare or think it's funny, we're just going to act like cardinals, and we're not going to care. We're just going to do what we're made to do. And so, I know that for, whatever the thing is that is needing to be expressed, that you have, your season still applies. We've been wanting to do this for a while, but we still had to wait for our right season.
Yeah.
But it didn't mean that we still needed to use all these previous seasons to work our way toward that. Just like when a farmer decides he's going to have so many pounds of crop one year, that may be his decision, and it's still not the season to plant it, but he still has all this work to do to get ready for that season, so that when it's time, he's got everything in place. And so I just encourage you, whatever it is that you're feeling like, you're designed to do, that this needs to come out of you, just start walking toward it. It's just like, that if you're lost in the woods and what direction basically is your salvation, somebody's there to rescue you, and you hear somebody call, you just start walking in that direction. You don't even know, you might not even know what you'll encounter between there and where you're at, but you heard it. So just start walking.
Get walking, right?
Just start walking. Just start moving in that direction. And that has brought me so much revelation, more than anything else in my life. A lot of times we just want to know what to do right now. And that can happen. Sometimes that happens, but more often than not, we hear the call. And we might not understand it, but we know that there's something about that we need. And I'm just going to start walking toward that call. I'm just going to start walking.
That's so good.
and just, we've heard a recent comment about, there's apparently a saying, for people that like to walk the Appalachian Trail, the trail will provide.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people will, it's like, well, how do you know what if you encounter this? Well, what if you encounter that? Well, what happens if this happens, or whatever? And sure, you can plan, and you can, kind of come up with, a basic game plan for things, but, you head off in the direction where, you hear the call. And as you're walking toward what you're supposed to walk toward, the trail will provide. And of course, as we know, the Lord is going to provide. The doors will be open to you. The provision will be made available to you, and you will be able to walk right into the things that you hear that you're supposed to walk toward. And don't let the other voices tell you otherwise.
That's right.
Listen to that one. So that's my best advice, is to
Oh, I love
just
it.
start walking.
Well, Jill,
Start
I'm so
walking.
proud for you. So happy for y'all. Tanya and I love you guys. And
Thank
every
you. We
time
love you.
we've gotten with y'all, I said, I wish we lived back in Georgia again sometimes, because I said, if we lived close to them, I know we'd be friends. I said, we'd be eating out to dinner. We'd be doing all kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Well,
just
listen, now that we've got our house on wheels here in just a few months, we'll
come
probably
on.
I know we'll be coming through Western North Carolina for sure. So we'll definitely stop by and have a visit for sure.
That's right.
So
That's right.
yeah, we're
And
looking
listen, I know
forward to it.
everybody's going to want to know, where can they follow this journey, because you guys are, kind of filming and talking about this journey as you go. So where's the best place they can find out about your art and about all that's going on this next season?
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. So you can always find me on my website. It's jillwilliamsfineart.com. And then please connect with me on Facebook. Go to my art page. It's Jill Williams Fine Art on Facebook. Connect with me there. I also have a private Facebook group that I invite creatives and painters into. It's a new group that's growing, but I go live in there every Tuesday, and we talk about creativity. We talk about even we get down into just some painting demos sometimes, but I really want to encourage people about the creative process and some mindset issues that keep you from being creative. That's something that we talk about a good bit there. So you're always welcome to tune into that. And then I've got a YouTube channel. I'm building a lot of subscribers. Of course, once we start talking about the bus, lots of people are ready to come over there and see what's going on with that. So I don't actually have like an address to give you for the YouTube, but if you're on my website, the links to all of my social media are on the bottom of all of my website pages. So it's
Awesome.
easy to find my YouTube there. But definitely connect with me. I have different series of paintings that get released ever so often that are available, as well as workshops that I do. And of course, I just like to serve people, and inside of the group, and it's totally free. We get together every Tuesday, and I just try to share from my heart into what's going on there concerning creativity. And it's been helpful for a lot of people, and a lot of people enjoy coming over there. So you're all invited to do that. And of course, going on the road means, really condensing the studio. So I have been starting to work a lot smaller anyway here in the past probably 6 months or so. And it's another, that's just another thing that God's doing, and just
Yeah.
getting me ready to, to kind of shift down a little bit, So there'll be lots of smaller works available. And that's going to just be fun to do too. So lots of things coming along the way. And I will be posting some stuff about our bus build and all that. We're really about to really get into it here in just a little bit. So it's parked outside. We've been doing a little bit of work.
Great.
And waiting for some parts that we took a long time for us to get in here, but they're on their way. And once we get some of that taken care of, we're really going to get things going pretty quickly. So it's going to be fun to watch. Everybody's welcome to come and tune in and check it out.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, it's been a treat having you on the podcast today, and just sharing this story of you unfolding and blossoming into everything that God's called you to. And I just can't wait to see all the great things that the Lord does. So thanks again for being on today, Jill.